A new Hulu three-part docuseries explores how a teen friendship ended in murder. Today I have the director of the docuseries, Claire, and Rob. How are you guys doing today?
Good, thank you. Good.
Very well,
Hey,
thank you.
great. All right, Claire, tell us a little about the docuseries without giving too much away.
It's the tragic case of Skylar Neese. She was a 16-year-old who disappeared from her home in West Virginia, in Morgantown, West Virginia, in 2012. But I think for me, it's a series about the kind of intensity of teenage friendships. It's kind of and how devastating it can be when those bonds fracture.
How did you get involved with that? Where did you get the story from, Claire?
It was a story that was developed by Dorothy St Pictures, who are the production company behind this. And when I came to them, they had already started a lot of work in developing this story, which has actually been told in the past before. But we were very clear that what we wanted to do was to try and take a fresh approach for this. For starters, this wasn't a fast turnaround series. You know, we've spent a very, very long time kind of crafting this series and making sure that we interview as many of Skylar's friends as we could. And we really wanted to tell this story from the inside out, from her friend's perspective, and also from Skylar's perspective as well, as much as we were able.
Rob keeps shaking his head. Rob, talk about your involvement in this.
Oh, well, I was involved by pretty much primarily as an investigator and interviewer, right? So my job at that particular time was as a polygraph examiner, and every field office in the FBI around the country, we have polygraph examiners, and we're typically brought in, to verify the truth or the veracity of what someone is providing and see if there's any issues with that particular story. So I was brought in after some interviews were done by special agents, state troopers, and local police, just to see is there a little bit more to this story because their story, the young girl's story, the teens, is changing. And in this particular case, in the context of a missing person, when someone's story changes, it's never good, right?
Rob, how long you been doing this? Because it seems like you got a lot of experience in this.
Well, I was a special agent for 24 years, but really the investigators that were assigned to this case early on really were the ones that started making their headway. The case itself is really a testament to that interagency cooperation between like federal, state, and locals, as it should be, right? This is what the American people want.
Claire, talk about that. You had quite a few people involved with this in the docuseries. So talk about how the law enforcement involvement is in this.
So I think I'm right in saying that this is the first time that this story has been told with the involvement of the FBI, actually. As you know, Rob is former FBI, but also Morgan Spurlock, who is still serving, and that brought about something kind of quite special and unique for us. We also involved state troopers as well, and local police as well who were involved with this. So we had a good sort of 360 coverage, I suppose, of the story, and we were able to kind of tell it from all angles in that regard. But also because we'd spent such a lot of time developing this story, and we had such incredible producers and archive producers working on this, we managed to uncover bits of evidence and archive, police archive that haven't seen the light of day. I say haven't seen the light of day, haven't seen the light of day in public before, haven't been in the press or the media before. And that was particularly special and insightful for us and brings something very new to this story that hasn't been seen before.
Talking about very new, Rob, when you got involved with this and do what you do, what were some of the things that were like red flags to you?
Well, what you typically try to do is listen, review prior interviews, read the interviews, look at statements, and you just see indicators, of course, as you read through a statement. Well, this seems like they're being vague, or this seems like an overly specific time frame they're providing here. And when you compare those interviews and you see the story changing and morphing, especially very fundamental elements of a story, it's just a good indication to see where is their tension, right? Where is their stress here? They seem to be changing the story and trying to figure out well, if they are changing it, why are they changing it? Because this is probably something that should be rock solid because they've been maintaining this for, several months already. So yeah, you kind of look at the communication and take it from there and just ask questions.
Speaking of questions, Claire, what do you want the audience to take away from this? This is going to be a three-part series on Hulu. So what do you want us to take away from it?
I think I want the audience to kind of reflect on their own use of social media, on their kids' use of social media. I think I want them to remember what it was like to be 16 and when, all your priorities are kind of quite different and your brain's very different. Um, I think it's worth kind of remembering that Skylar would have turned 30 just a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
And that's a life that was cut short. And she should have had a life. She should have been gone to college. She should have potentially been a lawyer, is what she wanted to do. There's so I'd love the audience to kind of sit with that and to understand and know Skylar as her friends and her family and her community knew Skylar.
We're talking about the new Hulu three-part docuseries, Friends Like These, The Murder of Skylar Neese, which premieres on March 6th. Rob, Claire, thank you so much for joining us. And Rob, I wish you would come to St. Louis because you just made me think when she said 16, I remember junior camp getting
Uh-huh.
back to St. Louis. There was a young lady that kind of disappeared here in St. Louis, and we never heard any more about it. So, yeah, it's very interesting.
It is, yeah. There and you have a local FBI office there as well, and they still work on we would call those cold cases, cases trying to hopefully generate some new leads. So absolutely, yeah.
Definitely. Rob, Claire, thank you again.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much.